Well, hello. Welcome to episode 27 of the Blindsided podcast. Today, we're talking about denial. It ain't just a river, and we're going to peel it back and have some fun with it and move from that denial, or at least awareness of it, and how to start stepping into resolving and moving towards what you really do want. My name is Charlie Collins with Blindsided Podcast. I'm a co-host with Brenda, and I'm a speaker, an author, and just grateful today.
It's great to be here today, Charlie, and I'm excited to talk about denial, not just a river. My name is Brenda Hayden. I'm the founder of timefor10.com. We are a coaching service and we help people inventory their disturbances so that they can get at the root causes of whatever it is that's bothering them, which is usually related to conditioned thinking. And denial has a lot to do with that. It's a learned behavior.
So I'm going to set you up, Brenda, real quick, and if I hope you can read this around your camera, whatever you got to do, but I know you will. So
Here we go. Denial is a defense mechanism where a person refuses to accept reality or facts, often to avoid dealing with painful emotions, uncomfortable actions, embarrassment, and failure. Oof. Wow.
no wonder why we have denial in our lives.
Yeah.
So I can relate. It's a defense mechanism. It's something I. It could be something. So let's just. I'm well. Instead of like talking out in the air, if you know what I mean, I want to bring it into something that I've recently uh, got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Something that probably in the beginning of 2024, I kind of lost discipline. I slowly, but it wasn't like overnight because I had built the muscle of more health and more vibrance and exercise and all that. But things got busy in life, and I slowly started reducing the discipline muscle and started taking the easier, softer way. And it wasn't so bad. It's just that maybe I started eating pizza more, or I started eating ice cream more, or I did. And then I started eating at night more, or I started watching more Netflix at night. And over the months, it got more and more where I was waking up and saying, I'm not doing that anymore. That's it. And then I would do it that night. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm insane. I am doing the same things over and over, keep saying the same thing, not really sticking to any program of action. And why am I failing over and over? And why can't I get this started? Is really um, what I was facing. And it was, I wasn't willing to face the reality or the facts. The fact was, I was feeling a little draggy in the morning. I wasn't feeling really good about myself. I would have negative self talk because of it. And then I would move away from that and go about my day. And then kind of that denial would kick in. It wasn't that bad. It's not like I'm dying from it. I'll start, tonight I feel good and I would just love like, just one more ice cream. And that one more was a month and then the next month. And yeah, so I will continue this story, but can you relate to so far?
Oh my gosh, Charlie, I can so relate. I can so relate. And really, I I have the same kind of denial going on in my life. And the deal is, you know, I had a certain routine. I had a certain level of discipline when it came to watching TV, eating certain kinds of foods. And what happened for me was there were a couple of other parts of my life that started to get more challenging, that started to drain my energy, that started to take a toll on me emotionally. And I would come home from that experience and it would feel good to have a fudge bar. It would feel good to sit in front and detach right? And distract myself from the thing that was causing the feelings with Netflix. It felt good to distract myself from that which was triggering the discomfort in me that I didn't want to deal with. I didn't want to deal with it. And that's where the denial comes in. Oh, you know what? I deserve to sit in front of and watch, I've been watching The Stranger on Netflix, which is, there's nothing comforting or good about watching a program like that other than it distracts me from what I'm feeling.
Mm.
So, yeah, I can identify, totally can identify.
Yeah, so Wednesday night I went to a meeting, and it was had like a dinner and everything at it, and I ate some dinner before I left. No, not some. I ate dinner.
There you go. There it is.
Uh, and then when I got there, nobody in the room knew I ate dinner, nor did I need to worry about that. But then I decided to have meatballs, stuffed pepperoni bread, a pasta dish with steak, like 5 cookies, and cheesecake.
Mm.
And I came home, and I felt lovely. And the because the negative, blah, 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 I finally just I said, that's it. Now, I've done that before. Like, a couple hundred times. I've said, that's it. Tomorrow's the day, whatever.
Yeah.
But this time I went in deeper. I went in deeper. What am I not, what am I covering? What am I trying to remove? What emotion, what thing is it that I'm not willing to look at? Because one of the things that keeps us is we don't want to face uncomfortable emotions or painful emotions. We don't want to face embarrassment. Like, I don't want people to know that I'm overeating and I'm doing things. I mean, it's embarrassing. I should be better than that. And, I don't, and it's hard. Once you build that muscle of addiction to sugar, to the fats, and maybe some bad processed foods, it's hard to break that. So I really had to come down to this surrender point where I really looked within, and I turned it over, and I admitted complete defeat. Doesn't mean I'm a loser, doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It means that I am no longer going to give power to that lower self. And when that power does want to come and say, it's time, I'm going to do something, I have clearly wrote it all out. I wrote out all my feelings and why I'm doing it. Then I wrote out a plan. Then I started to document the day. Then I shared it with somebody else, Stanley. And I said, oh God, he's going to think, because he's Mr. Perfect.
He is not, Charlie. He's not Mr.
I know.
Perfect.
But when you're Brenda, when you're in that, everyone's better than me.
Of
And I
course.
don't, even though that's not the truth, it's looking around a room thinking, how come they're all happy doing this? I'm miserable doing it, but I'm pretending to be happy.
Yeah. Well, you said so much. That's just packed full of stuff. So remember, Charlie, the way the brain works. So when we're eating a salty or a sugary or any kind of food, we get a dopamine hit, right? So when it comes to self-soothing, which is what we're doing when we're having an emotion and we're turning to food, like having 2 dinners, we're self-soothing with food because we know we're going to get a dopamine hit from that. And that feels good. It changes the way you feel, that dopamine hit. So that's where the food comes in. And other reward system type activities, like sitting down in front of the TV and watching a mindless program that's, I'm not really getting anything out of. It's a reward activity. It's another dopamine hit. So there is a neurochemistry. There is neurochemistry going on that makes it attractive, makes it a desirable thing for you to do to manage those emotions. Now, and you did the right thing. You got that the feelings out of your head, right? Because when we live up here, it's really limiting, and you put it on paper. I don't like what I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling. And that's why we're doing these activities, because we don't like what we're feeling. There's a feeling going on that we're trying to medicate in some way with whatever it is, TV or food. And you wrote it all out. So that energy moved from up here between your ears onto a piece of paper that you can now look at from an objective point of view and have some discernment about it. And that's really powerful. And we learned this years ago, you and I, how powerful it is to write something down and let that energy express out of your mind and onto the paper, and how powerful that can be. And then you looked at it and you came up with a plan, and you found an accountability buddy. And Stanley's a great accountability buddy because he will help you stay accountable.
Mm.
And now you have a plan. But really, what is the feeling underneath the self-soothing action? And that's what we deny. That's where my denial doesn't only come into play with, oh, it's okay to sit and watch Netflix. Oh, it's okay to have ice cream twice a week. I was having it 3 before, and now I'm only having it twice. So I'm making progress. Those are
Yeah.
some of the denial things that go on with me. So what was the underlying feeling for you? What was going on for you that you needed that dopamine hit to not feel it?
Well, by this point, it was just pretty much a habit. It was becoming part of, like, coming home out at 9:30 at night, and then eating pistachios and drinking seltzer, and it was became a habitual, like, doing. Because if I'm gonna watch even some YouTube things, like, but if I'm gonna learn about cameras or anything like that, I can't do anything but focus. But when, like you said, I'm gonna waste time and watch stuff that's it's not serving. It's okay. Another thing, Brenda, like, it's okay to take a night and watch some Netflix
Yeah.
or whatever that works for you. It's okay, as long as we know we're not doing it because we're not willing to feel something and we need to escape from it. That's really, I realized that it just compounded. I have a very addictive mind and body, and it just compounded, and it became like, it wasn't like my brain said, "You're hungry, go eat," at all. It wasn't that it wasn't the normal way our creator made us. So I just, what feeling was, it came with sadness, going through a tough time, losing, people passing away, and
Yeah.
it came from not wanting to deal with, not so much not wanting, but now I got to go through this. I wasn't ready. Who knows? I mean, I do know.
Yeah.
And but Brenda, also, I wrote out day one, like, what I did in the morning, how much I walked and I jogged, and I went back and I read my accomplishments, and it fired me up for day two. And today's day three.
That's awesome. And you're right. I'm so glad you brought that up. There is nothing wrong with eating some junk food when you feel like it, or watching Netflix when you feel like it. My gauge for determining the status of my mind, body, and spirit is, how do I feel about it? And
Right.
I was feeling badly about it. And that's when I know there's action that needs to be taken. If you're not feeling badly about it, there's no action that needs to be taken. I was feeling badly about it. And you mentioned it, Charlie. You've suffered a lot of loss. Your dog died, your mom died, and then your dog died, and there's all kinds of emotions that are tied with that. And it's, this is how we self-soothe. And it's that, I also want people to understand that that is a normal thing to be doing, but it becomes, when it starts to become a habit that doesn't make you feel good, is when we need to start looking at it. And I want to say good morning to everyone that's putting things in the chat right now, and a special shout out to Carrie. Good to see you. Um, so let's talk about, for a minute, the ways that we deny, because it's about denial. And I want to throw out there, Charlie, I don't know if you ever saw this, but somebody showed me this years ago, that denial is, don't even know, with an N-O, don't even know I am lying, DENIAL, don't even know I am lying. So a lot of times people don't even realize they're in denial.
Well, but you find out, though, if you stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your body and your higher self, you'll know.
Yeah.
There hasn't been one thing in my life that I was kept pushing down or moving out of the way. I mean, I thought I was, that I didn't know I needed to do something about. But because of embarrassment or failure or the not wanting to face some strong emotions or
Yep.
taking uncomfortable hard actions, um, I definitely would continue to take the easier softer way,
Yeah.
which never worked. I mean, it worked temporarily, but that created my new version of me, which was unhealthy. And Brenda, you and I only have one temple, one body. This is it, and this is the one we got to ride out the rest of our years. And I that's another thing that frustrated me. I want to be, you know alive, well, have tons of positive energy. I want to be able to do what I want, and not be controlled by um a body or a mind that is beating on me.
Right.
And let
Right.
me show you this next slide.
Okay.
So
Oh, look at this slide. It's awesome.
this is what you were just basically saying. If you go down the left side, that's that's a form of denial, and that's us running the same story, having the same feelings, creating the same lie, and then having the same feelings and getting it up. That's what we call programming. That's what we call, and Brenda always says, the conditioned mind. It has become conditioned. And you
Yeah.
try to break that, it's next to impossible because it is wired at this point. It is something that drives you
Yeah.
on a daily basis. It's like the operating system on my Windows computer. It is an operating system programmed into my computer, and it does what it does over and over every day. But we want to move over to the other side. And that's what I did, Brenda, by writing out, going to surrender, admitting defeat, and feeling good about that, owning it, saying, yes, I'm not a loser. I'm not less than. Everyone isn't doing it better than me. And who cares? That's not the name of the game.
Right.
Um, and then, so then I have some new thoughts and some new actions and choices and behaviors and feelings, and I feel better. And then I want to do that again. So I'm starting to form, because of neuroplasticity. What are we doing? We're forming new pathways. And you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Absolutely. 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 And
And
I
I'm going
think,
to show you just one more slide because it's going to be your favorite.
okay. Oh, metacognition, thinking about your thinking. It is my favorite. I love that. I love it.
So now we're back. Hello. But anyway, um, yeah. So just think of some areas of your life, whether it's financial denial, that could be I'm spending what I don't have, or I'm not changing my position to earn a little more to make things easier.
Mhm.
It could be relational. Could be you're hanging on to some things or people that aren't serving you. They're toxic. They're not. That might be something that I'm denying, even though it's staring me right in the face.
Yep.
It could be body, mind, spirit. It could be connection to a power greater than us. Could be, we get inner promptings every day. Brenda, you were saying maybe in the beginning of some denial, but when somebody's like, everybody who loves you and who's close to you, what you're denying, they see clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're the last to know. We're the last to know.
And when they bring it up, I want to choke them.
Right. Yeah. Because we're getting comfort from the things that we're doing that may not be so good for us. Like I said, it's become a reward system. Food, if you think about food, when I was trying to change my eating habits, I changed the way I thought about food. Instead of food being part of the reward system,
Yeah, right.
right, it just became nutrition. And I started looking at food differently. It became nutrition, not part of my reward system. And so it kind of took away that craving for the dopamine hit. And the other thing you said that's really important, and I share this with people all the time, is the more that you can observe your behavior without judging, blaming, or criticizing yourself, the more success you'll have at making those changes. Because it's not a reflection on your worth. You're not defined by any of those behaviors. So if you just observe them, oh, isn't that interesting that this is what I want to do right now? And take a look at why you want to do it. look at, for me, if I'm craving sugar, for example, because I really don't dive into sugar that much anymore. If I'm really craving sugar, I look at, what happened in the last hour, for example. Was I triggered in some way? Is there something I'm not looking at? Am I in denial about something? Am I trying to avoid a certain feeling? And it only takes a few seconds. It's not like I sit there and think about my thinking constantly, or that, I have to do this for any long period of time. It'll come in a few seconds of just kind of running through very quickly what is happening in this present moment and what happened in the last hour that may have brought me to this place where I'm looking for a fix. I'm looking to soothe in some way. It's really that simple. And I don't judge myself for it.
You don't bring out the hammer?
No, because that just creates more of the same angst that's causing the craving for whatever it is to self-soothe. No, it just adds to the muck that I'm trying to kind of get through if I'm going to beat myself up for it.
Well, in that book we know, it says it's like having beating your head with a hammer when you have a headache. I don't see. What do you mean? Yeah, and again, it's that reality. I'm not willing. I refuse to see what's right in front of me.
Mm.
And the facts are right there. I'm told, and it's like, way back, not way back, but addiction, I mean, there's gambling, there's porn, sex addiction, there's food addiction, there's social media addiction, there's computer addiction, there's, there's all sorts. And why? There's pill addiction, you know what I mean? There's alcohol, and there's all great programs for that stuff, but none of them will work until you take step one, which we're talking about, which is admitting complete defeat. I have to keep, and I don't have to, I choose to remind myself, I get power from saying that. My old me would never want, I would deny defeat until my last breath almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, denial kills.
Oh,
I've seen it kill. I've seen it kill alcoholics. They cannot own the fact that they've got to completely give of themselves to a simple program.
Right.
Well, maybe not too, it's easy, but not too simple. You know what I mean?
Right. And so for most people, Charlie, myself included for a long time, I had to be at a level of pain that was nearly life-threatening before I would make a change. Because excuse me, the ease and comfort that I immediately felt, from either taking a drug or eating sugar or, over exercising or overworking or whatever it was that I was using as a self-soothing behavior, the ease and comfort I immediately felt was highly addictive. It got me out of my feelings. So I had to be in enough pain. And you don't have to work this way, by the way. You can skip over that if you're just rigorously honest with yourself. I had to get in so much pain before I would make a change. It was ridiculous. I don't live like that anymore. It's wonderful. I mean, like when I complain about struggling with, eating my processed food snack at night, it's only, it's not that kind of problem. I'm not doing it in a life-threatening kind of way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once I started talking to you and to Stan about it, the problem is, I'm doing it once or twice a week now instead of 7 days a week, And that's the other thing is I gave myself permission to ease off whatever it was instead of this black and white thinking, because that's a setup for failure. So let's say you're in denial about something and you watch this podcast and you're like, wow, like I really need, I'm ready. I'm ready to take a look at some of these things. And then you say to yourself, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. As of tomorrow, I'm not going to do this. For me, that was a setup for failure because I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall short. I'm going to fall short. I have good days. I have bad days. I have in between days. it's in the forefront of my mind that this is the goal that I want to achieve on any given day, I fall short. And I allow myself to fall short. I don't beat myself up for that. I tell myself tomorrow's another day and I'm going to try and succeed tomorrow in the ways that I didn't today. And I don't judge myself for it.
That did not happen overnight.
No.
And that's okay, because it's a process. It's a journey.
Yes.
And I think, gosh, planting a flag in the ground, just saying, boom, today's the day, or it's not tomorrow, because it might not come. Today, I'm going to do something about whatever it might be. And it could be a little. And
Yeah.
then document it. I
Yeah.
think that's really important. At least it is for me. And then I don't have a pen and paper. I have a digital notebook that has, and I just love it. I went back and I read and I'm like, I feel good. It raises my self-esteem, it raises my self-confidence, my and my independent, like, I got this with the help of accountability and a power greater than myself. I got this, but half a day at a time. So I gotta, I'm not sure if Molly's listening. Gosh, I think she is, though. But she went out last night with Molly is my wife, who is an angel because she sticks with me, and I always hears me, I'm changing everything black and white. We need the cupboards, everything, I'm a bit crazy at times. And anyway, she went out with a friend last night, and after I ate a healthy dinner, I got on my scooter and I started heading to the store to get ice cream. A day 2. And I said, is it true? Do I need ice cream? Absolutely not. Who would I be without that thought that I need ice cream? I'd be free. Am I willing to do the work to remove so I don't go to that thought when I have where I could be sneaky? I'm a sneaky guy too. It's like she wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have gotten caught. Oh yeah, I would have. I would have felt like crap.
Mhm.
Me, eating it, and then, oh God, was that the garage door? I can't live in that world anymore. I certainly could choose to go down that path, but no, thank you. So I'm riding and I'm like, who would I be without that thought? I know if I continue to do the work and stay honest as I'm turning to come back home, a little angry that I can't have it, but I can. I am making a healthy choice in this moment, and I came back home. And then I came in and I went out and pushed the lawnmower all around, did a bunch of work right until it was dark out. So guess
Sounds
what?
like what?
I went to bed a whole lot healthier and happier last night.
Yeah. Sounds like you moved a muscle and changed a thought. Moved a muscle and changed a thought. The other thing is you got curious. That's what I heard. You got curious about why you wanted the ice cream. And that's a really good tool to use when you've made a commitment. And that's what I do. When I make a commitment, like I do, or I set a goal and I fall short, on the days that I fall short, instead of beating myself up for it, I get curious about why. Like, just to like, it's about the metacognition, learning about the way that I think and the way that I respond and the way that the things that trigger me, so if you start to get curious about, well, what was different today that I didn't meet my goal than yesterday when I did meet my goal? And I guarantee if you take 5 minutes and you think about that, you will find the reason, and it'll be another tool in your box about learning the way that your brain thinks, the wiring that's going on in there, the conditioned thinking, the things that you tell yourself. Well, I can have ice cream. What did you tell yourself before you got on the scooter to go get the ice cream? What did you tell yourself? Do you remember?
Well, that I can, and pretty much I can get away with it.
Was it an impulsive thought?
Yeah. I mean,
There
it
you
wasn't
go.
like back in the old days, I cherished those. But no, it was I was done cleaning up and I'm like, "Oh, I could have ice cream."
Right.
Nobody would know.
There's the reward system. I'm done cleaning up. I get to have ice cream. There's the reward system I was talking about, right? So it's I did something, I get a reward for doing it. It's all impulsive, conditioned thinking. I'm going to go get that ice cream because that's how I reward myself. So the other thing we can do because when we stop and we think about the way the brain is working in that moment, we can say, okay, so what am I going to reward myself with that's not ice cream? Substitute the reward with something healthier. So you can still have that impulsive thought, right? Oh, I finished cleaning. Your brain wants a reward. What am I going to do that feels good that isn't related to something that's going to hurt my body? And find something else that you like to reward yourself with. Like for me, I started substituting a lavender Epsom salt bath. I love lighting a candle, getting in the tub with lavender oil and Epsom salt, and I just love it. That's what I'm going to reward myself with. Or a meditation that I really love, or going for a walk, which I really love to do. Or I put a chair out on my deck and I love to watch the hawks come off the mountain here. 5 minutes of that. Like, if you think about it, you can create a whole new reward system with things that are as satisfying, if not more satisfying, than what you're used to rewarding yourself with.
And that's really good awareness, Brenda, is that I ate a healthy, good dinner, reward, dopamine released. And then I cleaned up, another. And then I didn't have then I've gotten so used to spurt of dopamine. And it's okay not, actually controlling it and chilling it out a little bit is actually healthier.
Yeah.
And then automatically, unconsciously, my body's my body, because we must think greater than we feel. And in that
Yeah.
moment, my body said, time for another spurt. And and that's great. It's like I didn't realize I was looking to reward, because I was a guy that never rewarded myself because I never was good enough. I never did enough. I never succeeded enough. And so I went to bed thinking, oh, I could have done more. And so when somebody once said, you need to honor your accomplishments, I'm like, ew. Or, you should take one day a week and celebrate your successes. I'm like, I would never do that. Why would I do that? I'm not worthy yet, is what I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what else you said, Charlie, that's so important to talk about when it comes to changing our denial is as you turned the scooter around, you said, I was mad. I was angry. You were uncomfortable. When I was doing the cutting back of that snack I was having at night and ice cream, same as you, I would get angry. I would be upset that I couldn't have that. I felt uncomfortable.
Yep.
And we don't like to feel uncomfortable. We have zero tolerance for feeling uncomfortable. And what I found out, which was a complete shock to me, is if I allowed myself to sit in that discomfort, it passed within a minute or two. It passed within a minute or two. So the second I felt uncomfortable, my brain said, "Oh, I'm gonna feel like this forever. This is not gonna go away." And when I just relaxed and metacognition, right, and I thought about that thought, I'm like, no, it's gonna be fine. And I was amazed at how quickly that discomfort left me. The craving, for example, the second I had a craving for sugar, I wanted to go satisfy that craving. When I sat with it, it was literally gone within a minute or two, like a cloud passing by. So sit with the discomfort, be curious about it. You even set a timer, see how long, it takes to pass. You'll be amazed. Amazed.
Yeah, it does. This too shall pass. Yeah. And
Mhm.
I am an ease and comfort guy. Yeah, now it was hard living a life of addiction and uh, gosh, and now this is like being on a cruise every day. It's so amazing.
Mm,
But I have the human condition that says, well, how can I screw this up a little? uh, because I'm not a guy, whatever. I just got to continue constant, never ending improvement. That doesn't mean I can't do anything but constantly read books, learn, get better, do, because I'll do myself back into denial.
right.
There's a wheel of life, right? And the wheel of life it's a wheel, and you draw all the spokes, and in each one you put relations, finance, spirituality, um, body, physical body, spirit, whatever. So you list them, and then you rate each one. Then you realize, no wonder why I'm stuck. I'm focusing I'm focusing too much in these three areas and not enough. So you kind of get an idea. And what is keeping me from focusing in is it embarrassment? Is it I'm afraid to fail? Is it I don't want to ask for help and let people know I'm struggling in that area? It's so much easier just to do that and just get honest with because imagine riding a bike that had uneven wheels. It wouldn't be that fun.
No,
And there's no such thing as pure balance. I mean, maybe there is, but I haven't met anybody that's perfectly balanced. But to uncover what areas of life that might need some attention is the name of the game.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And whatever it is you're in denial about, don't be afraid to take a look at what's driving the unwillingness to look at the things that you're doing that aren't good for you. Because I guarantee you, once you start looking at them, they're not going to be as big as you thought they were, not as difficult to give up, not as painful to leave behind. They're just not.
No,
Accountability buddies are really important for that, and not to judge yourself, not to judge yourself for being in this position. It's a human condition.
yeah, yeah, hiring a coach, getting a program of action. So what we do is that we list the goal we want. I forget the. It's so funny. I read them all the time, but I state I am so happy and grateful. I now weigh 162 pounds, thriving with positive energy and ripped muscles. And then I say, but I'm not there. So I say, okay, when do I want to work towards that? I state it. Okay. And then how do I go about that? Well, I need to plan some working out, plan, and then put it down, document it, write it out, and then read it. Read that affirmation in the
Mhm.
morning and then read how did I do yesterday? There's so many habit trackers and things on your phone. And oh my gosh, I mean, there's so many ways, but I believe all the technology in the world doesn't even come close to it being honest with another person
Exactly.
100% and asking for them to get in your face, to be don't coddle me, don't tell me it's going to be okay. I made a dang decision and a commitment, and I need your help to keep me on track. If you got to kick me in the fanny, do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the most loving thing you can do for somebody is not enable them by doing the work for them. I had a situation just this week where instead of going and rescuing somebody, I said, "This is what you can do for yourself today, and you can do it." And that was the end of the conversation. That's the most loving thing you can do for someone.
And here's some signs of what maybe if you're not seeing what you might be trying to push to the side, or what you're hitting the bottle, you're having a couple extra drinks to kind of make easier. There's some signs. If you're blaming a lot, if you're blaming outside of you, if you're complaining about the state of the nation, if you're complaining about everything out there, and you're sharing it with all people who can't do anything about it, another big clue. If you're justifying, if you're defending, that's what we do. It's a defense mechanism, denial. So you want to look at, what am I defending within me that is rotting me, that I'm not willing to just take a breath and take a look at. And then we make excuses all the time. And those are, or I'm starting to see it. I know I have an issue here, but I'm going to look at that tomorrow. It's not that bad. You know, and then it got to the point for me, what's the use anyway? I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And that is not where you want to be.
No.
You know, I've seen people die because of denial, for sure.
We've seen people die. I've seen people die, family members even.
Yeah.
Because they're not willing to look at the things that are killing them.
And why is that, Brenda? Because making that turn on that scooter, I was mad. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I should be able to.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah.
Why does everyone else get to be fat, sick, lazy, and tired? And I don't. And they seem to all be happy with it, and they're not. But you know what I mean? It's like, I do all that with just turning the scooter around. I've been through that whole process. And to be honest, I forgot all about it until this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because
here's the thing. Go ahead. Because why?
Read the ones on the right.
New thoughts, new choices, new actions and behaviors, new experiences, and new feelings.
Oh, music to my ears.
Mine too.
And that, I had a new thought. I had a new behavior. I had a new experience, and I felt good. Yes. And I want more of that. That's the dopamine that is organic.
You know, the other thing to keep in mind, Charlie, and this blew my mind when I finally understood it, was I am using and chasing with the things that I'm in denial about. The self-soothing behaviors are things that I'm chasing, right? To self-soothe a feeling that I'm having. So I'm seeking another feeling to fix the feeling. Because what I'm getting from the things that I'm in denial about, whether it's overeating, drugs and alcohol, whatever it is, any of the addictions you mentioned, is going to produce what? A feeling. The ice cream produces what? A feeling. So you're using a feeling to medicate a feeling. You're chasing the same thing. You're chasing the same thing. So when I look at and work with people who are addicted to something, all the chaos, all the mayhem, everything that went on with your using drugs and alcohol was to get a feeling. You got a feeling from the drugs and alcohol. That's it. All of that drama and pain and suffering for a feeling or to relieve another feeling. Doesn't have to be that way. You can tolerate the feeling. You can tolerate the feeling, which is why, you know, for me, I focus so much on, you know, what is so uncomfortable about the feeling that you're medicating with the self-soothing behavior. Let's look at that. Let's peel that onion and find out where that feeling comes from, because it's probably very old. It's in your conditioned mind. It's probably in the 0 to 7 program that's running. And let's shine a light on that. Let's cognitively reappraise where that feeling came from, the situation, what it means to you. And let's give it a different meaning so that you don't have to medicate it when it comes up anymore, because you're not going to feel it the same way you did. Love it.
Yeah. And pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. You know, that being that I was self-hatred. I couldn't stand myself. And I was I felt that way Wednesday night. Like, you are pathetic. You know,
terrible.
Well, I'm just saying
yourself that way.
I'm just saying, and I didn't stay there. And I'm like, well, no, that doesn't serve me. You know, that isn't that's not how I get well. That's how I get sicker, because I don't believe that. But I'm just saying, remember that incomprehensible demoralization. Like, I cannot believe how disgusting I feel. And deep down, I know I'm going to do it again.
Because it feels good.
And I laugh, and there's people watching us going, "Man, that dude's sick," and you giggle a little too because you get it. But
Yeah,
you know,
done it.
and
Do
and
it.
and I just want to say something about food. Um, processed, highly ultra processed food. It's not our fault. I mean, we're marketed to a certain way. It hits our mouths. It's addictive.
It's
We
addictive.
want more. They build it all that way. They know the
Yes.
human condition. So, it's not like I wanted to gain weight, get slow, get tired, feel grumpy, or act grumpy, feel sluggish, blame, complain, right? I mean, think about all the trains of emotions and circumstances when I'm off. You want to help your depression, your anxiety, your stress, remove all ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah.
And
That's
not
basically anything in a package. Yeah.
yep.
Crackers,
Oh, you mean the
snacks,
peanut butter ones?
all of them.
I'm a
Really
peanut butter
get the
addict.
Yucca app, guys. Get the Yucca app and scan it. And if
Y
the little red
U
dot comes
K.
up,
Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just spelling it. YUKA.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be shocked when you start using that app and seeing how many carcinogenics are in your food. If it comes up with a red dot, don't buy it. That means hazardous. And
What's
not
not
only, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
So not only does it come up and tell you what hazardous materials are in it, but if you click on the red dot, it'll go down, it'll list the hazardous materials, how it affects your brain, what it causes. Some foods cause ADHD, memory loss, and then it gives you the studies that you could go click on and see the study that was done on the chemical that they're telling you is going to hurt you. I mean, it's unbelievable. YUKA, I just love it. Nonprofit organization, by the way.
Yeah. And they don't care if you don't donate, they'll treat you the same.
Yeah.
And then if you slide your finger up, it gives you healthy choices.
Yes, it does.
Um, and now I forgot what I was going to say. So that wasn't meant to be.
It's been a great podcast, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one that we could talk about for 3-4 weeks and just go into areas and build the program. But that's really what a coach does. If you hire a coach, if you don't have to, you can design it all yourself and find an accountability partner.
Mhm.
But if you hired somebody that isn't in it, they get to see from outside of the paradigm you're in, and they're not wearing your glasses. They're your reality. When we get better, our personality, which is our personal reality, improves. It gets better. It's healthier. We see more clearly. And I just know, I mean, when I think '06 or '06, I think it was '06, I hired my first coach. And it wasn't a health one, it was a business one. But man, I couldn't come to the meeting unless I had done the work. And I started resenting the guy. Like, I don't do homework, buddy. But he's like, I'm only trying to help you go from where you are to where you really could be in this business you have. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, but that's what that's what the emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, inventorying disturbances. That's what it's about. It's about doing the work. It's not it's not psychotherapy. It's not mental health treatment. It's a series of tools that are known to work, that will change your thinking, that will give you a better life. I mean, that's what we're teachers. And I love doing it because when I watch the light bulbs go on, when somebody is like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I mean, that's why I do it. Because now there's a change in thinking, there's a change in the way they're behaving, and their life gets better. And I get to bear witness to that. I get to bear witness to that. It was done for me, and now I do it for others. There's just no greater calling. I love it.
That's what you call walking hand in hand in the sunlight of the spirit.
Yes, sir.
Practicing
Yes, sir.
these principles in all of our affairs, and
Yes, sir.
and helping others on their journey to our development. Yes,
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyone else in the chat? Anything we gotta say goodbye to or hello to?
Charlie, I did not follow the chat, and as you know, it scrolls up. So sorry, guys. I really got into this conversation with Charlie today. I didn't pay attention.
Are we gonna have to process some denial?
No, no denial here. I was like, nope.
I know you were focused.
I'm turning
Hey,
red.
all right. Well, let me see where I. Okay, say goodbye to this amazing. Hey, if you guys want a copy of this, or you got to reach out through the YouTube channel. Go to timeforattend.com. Send an email. Well, I can send you obviously what denial. The slides. I'm not gonna, and be happy to do that for you. And we appreciate you for coming today.
Yep, we sure do.
Oh, it's us again. I forgot.
Yeah.
And please share this, like it, of course. And if you haven't subscribed to one of our channels or something, please do.
Yep.
And thank you kindly. We'll see you next Saturday.
See you next Saturday. And don't forget, if you want to book a session with Charlie or I, you can go to timeforattend.com, find our picture by scrolling down and hit the book button.
The book button.
The book button.
Goodbye.
Bye.